personal development is an intentional step that you need to make, and it doesn't just begin by wishful thinking. Some people are unsure about themselves, unsure about their potentials, unsure about what they can do, how much they can achieve.
And you only get that when you spend time with
Yes, moments of self-discovery comes through moments of self-reflection and isolation. Staying by yourself to think, to reflect is something that if you've learned and mastered, you can become one of the best versions of yourself.
People always say they don't have the time. They don't have the time to, and especially when you are doing a job that doesn't serve you, living a life that doesn't fit you, and yet you're not comfortable where you are, but yet the constant excuse that people make is that they don't have time. How do you now make time for that personal growth?
There will always not be time, and everyone would always have excuse for not doing certain things. But I think priority is what separates people who are high achievers and people who are not. Because someone who says, I don't have time to either pick a book to read or to watch a YouTube video that could better their life, could have time to play PS5. I mean, for hours.
If peradventure you had to start all over again, what would you do differently?
If I were to start all over again, I mean, there isn't so much I'm going to do differently. I'm still going to do the same things. Number one.
Welcome to Beyond the Boardroom, the podcast where we explore the depths of personal growth. I'm your host, Alexis Beckers, and each week I bring you inspiring conversation with expert guests who share their insights on mindsets, self-development, and living your best life. Whether you are looking to elevate your career, boost your charisma in leadership, or find your purpose, you are in the right place. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you hit that subscription button, like, share, and don't miss out on every amazing episode. And with that said, let's dive in and go beyond the boardroom together. People always say they don't have the time. They don't have the time to, and especially when you are doing a job that doesn't serve you, living a life that doesn't fit you, and yet you're not comfortable where you are, but yet the constant excuse that people make is that they don't have time. How do you now make time for that personal growth?
There will always not be time, and everyone would always have excuse for not doing certain things. But I think priority is what separates people who are high achievers, and people who are not. Because someone who says, I don't have time to either pick a book to read or to watch a YouTube video that could better their life, could have time to play PS5. I mean, for hours.
If peradventure you had to start all over again, what would you do differently?
If I were to start all over again, I mean, there isn't so much I'm going to do differently. I'm still going to do the same things. Number one, personal development is an intentional step that you need to make, and it doesn't just begin by wishful thinking. Some people are unsure about themselves, unsure about their potentials, unsure about what they can do, how much they can achieve.
And you only get that when you spend time with.
Yes, moments of self-discovery comes through moments of self-reflection and isolation. Staying by yourself to think, to reflect is something that if you've learned and mastered, you can become one of the best versions of yourself.
People always say they don't have the time. They don't have the time to, and especially when you are doing a job that doesn't serve you, living a life that doesn't fit you, and yet you're not comfortable where you are, but yet the constant excuse that people make is that they don't have time. How do you now make time for that personal growth?
There will always not be time, and everyone would always have excuse for not doing certain things. But I think priority is what separates people who are high achievers, and people who are not. Because someone who says, I don't have time to either pick a book to read or to watch a YouTube video that could better their life, could have time to play PS5. I mean, for hours.
If peradventure you had to start all over again,
Yeah.
what would you do differently?
If I were to start all over again, I mean, there isn't so much I'm going to do differently. I'm still going to do the same things. Number one,
Now, my message to you, or what I'll first ask you, is
okay.
Mr. Craftsman Elijah, what is your message?
Well, my message is very simple. It's something that I've embodied over the years. My mission or my message is simple, is to inspire greatness and to drive transformation among young people. Very simple.
Wow, that's
Very.
And how has it been so far?
Yeah, it's been great. Everything that I do, all the work that I've done, I've been doing in the past, all the work that I'll also do in the future is also tailored to doing that. And that is why it is effortless for me to, you know, carry along a lot of young people in my circle. Because that is my passion. I want to see a lot of young people come to the realization of their purpose. In fact, that is also why I authored a book last year called Pathways,
Wow.
How to Discover Your Purpose and Fulfill Your Destiny. It's available on Amazon. It's available on Seller, right? So, and because of that singular message that I've embodied over many years, I've been in a lot of youth movements. I have volunteered in a lot of youth-driven, youth-led organizations, campaigns, and programs. And then, of course, I am a convener as well, of a conference that is targeted and tailored to harness the potentials of young people. Now we have a foundation fully registered, with the thematic areas that cuts across leadership development, human capacity development, entrepreneurial skills development, and then, of course, technological development. So these are some of the things that is driving me. And yeah, I hope this answers your question well.
Yeah, true. Let's talk about human development and what we're going to be looking at now. I know you for a couple of while now, and one thing I can say is the level of transition of how you've taken yourself from the place you used to be to the place you are right now. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So how did you do it?
Well, I think one of the first things I would tell every young person out there, even if you're not young, but you're advanced in age, but you are in a process of transition, right? You're looking at, moving your life forward. One thing I would tell anyone out there is personal development is an intentional step that you need to make. And it doesn't just begin by wishful thinking. I remember over a decade ago when I decided to take my life seriously, one of the first steps I made was to draft out 10 life missions. I drafted 10 life missions, how I was going to live my life. And then I began to set goals. I knew that I needed a mentor. I knew I needed to read books. I knew I needed to start listening. In fact, one of the things I said, I was going to also be a public speaker, a motivational. In fact, I had a lot of, and then I started watching TED Talks. Even long before TED Talk or TEDx became so popular in Nigeria, I had been listening to TED Talk. I downloaded their app, TED Radio. I was listening to TED Talk. I was learning how to speak. Right. This was over a decade ago. Right. And I picked up a book by Jack Canfield, How to Move You from Point A to Point B. Success Principles, how to move from where you are to where you want to be. That's the book. So,
how interesting. How very interesting.
Oh, you have the book there.
No. I was actually thinking when I thought about you, I was saying, what can we talk about? What can I ask this man? What are the areas at which I can? Were you not surprised when you saw the conversation I told you?
Well. I wasn't. I should be surprised because not like you have so much background into my history. But,
yes.
But the questions were really tailored.
Yeah.
They were really
Oh,
tailored.
just like what you just exactly the same book you talked
Yeah.
about. I believe that was your first book, you said.
Yes, yes, yes.
Then it's how to become the person you have always wanted.
Wanted to be. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I believe you'll be sharing some insights with us on what. Let me ask you. I want to know what experience, at what point did you now decided, or what made you decide to pick up that book?
Well, for me, when you have discovered your purpose, right? Because that is the beginning point of every life's pursuit. A discovery of your purpose. In fact, the discovery of my purpose altered the trajectory of my life. Ordinarily, I studied pure and industrial chemistry. I proceeded to do like a 2 years national diploma on petroleum and pipeline management. I was going to go into oil and gas, right? But the moment I discovered my purpose, I chose a path. And it was in this moment of transitioning that I told you I picked up this book. I found myself a mentor. I got quite a number of other books by John Maxwell, the laws of invaluable growth, just quite a number of them like that, right? So it is in that moment where you know that there is more to your life than normal enterprise or normal career, normal do the 9 to 5 job, or just following a career path. When you've come to the realization of purpose, and of course, when you've come to the realization of purpose, there's a strong pull within your heart towards a certain direction. And then you begin to ask questions, what are the next steps? And of course, some of your answers are going to be found in a book. So, like I said, it was in the same year I set goals for myself. If I had conferences to attend, I was coming. I was living in Port Harcourt at the time, but I'd come to Abuja for conference.
Wow.
Yes, I remember one of the conferences I came for. This was in 2017, Hive Leadership Conference. It was the first to hold in Nigeria at the time. It was going to cost $600. And this was someone fresh from university. How was I going to be able to afford that? But it was a matter of purpose, grit. I kept pushing. I contacted the US office. I fought to get a discount or a scholarship to attend the conference, and I did. So you see, purpose also births desire. When you found your purpose, it births a desire in your heart to fulfill that purpose or to go after that purpose. Right. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And two things I'm curious about. It was, I know you've been within this journey of life, you've been in places where you don't want to find yourself, and you found a way to get out of it. That's one. And two, again, is when you're in school, where as you're hustling and you're striving, how do you now make out that time for personal growth? Because what I'm asking that is, what you tend to see in today's world is people always say they don't have the time. They don't have the time to, and especially when you are doing a job that doesn't serve you, living a life that doesn't fit you, and yet you're not comfortable where you are, but yet the constant excuse that people make is that they don't have time. When would I want to see time? So my question to you is, how do you now make time for that personal growth, even when as a student back then?
Well, there will always not be time. Everyone, we all have 24 hours per day, and everyone would always have excuse for not doing certain things. But I think priority is what separates people from people who are high achievers, and people who are not. Prioritizing what matters most to you, because someone who says I don't have time to either pick a book to read or to watch a YouTube video that could better their life could have time to play PS5. For hours, right? They could have time to binge on Netflix. They could have time to go play football for 2-3 hours. So it's a matter of priority. It's a matter of giving attention to what truly matters to them. So when people say they don't have time, that is not the truth. They've not just prioritized what is most important to them. So, for instance, when I was in school, I had to study to pass my exams, right? But I still have to read other books, because those those are the things that would form me and make me a better person to face life, not what I studied in school or the chemistry 105 or chemistry. No, none of that.
Yeah. Someone hearing you now will say, "Oh yeah, Craftman, easier said than done. It's just to move." But I believe that indeed you have to prioritize what is more important to you. But you need that mental shift. It's just like I heard a story of a man that had been struggling with smoking addiction
Yeah.
for over 30 something years.
Okay.
Now he had this first collapsed heart attack.
Yeah.
When he went to the hospital, the doctor said, if you ever pick a stick of cigarettes, just consider yourself dead.
Okay.
Now there's no prayer, no motivation, no talk. He never smoked again. And now that is a mindset shift in a particular way. That's something that is detrimental to his health. So now for you, what are some of the mindset shifts?
Well, for me, my mindset shift came from understanding where I was coming from, right? Because we are all different people. We never chose where we were going to be born into.
Yeah.
Right. We never chose. There are certain things that happened in life that we couldn't choose for ourselves. One of which is where you're born into. Right.
Take us back.
I should take you back. So when you consider where you're coming from, the kind of background you're coming from, knowing that, oh, I'm not from a rich family, I don't have strong support system, I'm not such that if I live my life to chance, somehow I could have redemption either through my father or through some of the legacies he's built. So when you come to that realization, you better buckle up. So for some people, they never come to that realization, right? They know that they have a problem. They know that they need to change their lives, but they never come to that realization. But for me, I did. Because I knew that I wouldn't want to leave a legacy for my children that they wouldn't be proud of. So it was a mental shift that I had very, very early. But I think one of the things that helped me, I don't take credit for my being disciplined or for my having figured these things out very early, but that's why I still give God all the glory. So you may not have everything, but God could bless you with people, and that was what He did for me. Growing up in a university environment as a teenage boy, I had elder friends. I had people who were already in the university, so I was still in secondary school. Right, so I could still attend conferences. So this journey started a long time ago. I could still attend conferences with them. You know how small I could be that I wasn't entitled to a seat in a bus to attend a conference. I'll be lapped. That was how small I was, So having senior friends like that helped me.
Yeah.
Because they would give me a book to read. They would talk to me about something. They would challenge my thinking. I never knew anything about Forex in code until I met someone. I was still in secondary school, SS1 or so. He said he had some investment in Forex and all of that. But I didn't, because my mind was too small at the time, I didn't care to really know the details of Forex at the time. And I'm talking about many years ago, right? So what am I trying to say? Sometimes, the resources we are looking for might not come in the form that we expect. It could just be people around you. God could bless you with the right people around you. And I think that was what God did for me.
The right environment.
The right environment, yes.
So one way, if you want to change your life, you have to be surrounded with the right people.
The right people, exactly.
Okay, so that's... Yeah. Now, tell me something. So you said the right people helps. So how can you stay motivated to improve yourself when opportunity around you seem far?
Well, when I decided to pursue my personal development growth many years ago, I remember in 2015 or so, it wasn't in the best of conditions. I actually, like I told you, I moved to Port Harcourt to pursue a career in the oil and gas. I had done a 2-year program just to add to my degree, right? It wasn't in the best of it. The odds were stacked against me. In fact, one of my guys at the time looked at me and said, "Oh boy, forgive me, and let me use the Nigerian parlance." He said, "Oh boy, don't go back to your papa house," because he was saying it from a place of love, seeing how I had to go through a lot. I didn't have a place to live. I didn't have no one to take me in, right? So I lived in the church where I was attending at the time. So not like there were provisions for where people should live. So the children church is where I would just do I'll just lay something and sleep. And I did that for 1 year. Now, within that period, I was investing in my personal development. I would attend TED Talks. I attended the first conference. I think John Maxwell Live to Lead sessions. If you follow John Maxwell, you know that they have the John Maxwell team has. This was in I think 2016 now. For the first time, if you know what it means to take out 50,000 to attend a session for just 4 hours, over 10 years ago, so the odds were stacked against me, but I would go that extra length to invest in myself because I had seen a future of myself and I knew the requirement for that future is so great and I had to pay the price now. I'm still paying the price now. It's not like I've gotten to the kind of future that I desire for myself. Right,
and most people will see that as a waste. We can spend a lot of money in concerts, in these, but when it comes to personal development, we feel like it's something that we can just get around with. We can just get go online and you see all those things. Now, that deliberate, conscious effort that you put to invest more in yourself. Tell me, you said that the drive came from where you are, or where you were brought up from. Yeah? Now, my question here is, if peradventure you had to start all over again, what would you do differently?
If I were to start all over again, I mean, there isn't so much I'm going to do differently. I'm still going to do the same things. Number one, find a mentor. Number two, what is my objective? What do I want to achieve? What path do I want to trade on? I mean, get books in those areas. In fact, I wrote down, even before coming, I wrote down 4 areas I want to start studying intently on. 4 areas I want to start studying intently on. I wrote them down in my note. I think it was early this morning or so, right? Because there's a next level of growth I want to open up, and I know that I need to study deeply in these areas. So number one, find a mentor. Then once you've identified the path, of course, first step, let's go over it again.
Yeah.
First step, understand exactly what you want to do. If you're starting all over again, once you have that understanding, find a mentor, get books, podcasts, thank God a lot of resource materials, right? And start studying in those areas. Number 3, begin to network with people within that industry who are already ahead of you. Make them your friends. I mean, that is the quickest way to go. Making them your friend also is not asking them for, sometimes we think that having them as a friend will shorten the process for you. Actually, it won't. Your goal, first of all, is to also see how you can add value to them, right? So that the relationship can be mutual as possible. So find people within that industry that you're looking at getting into, number 3. And then, of course, grow. You need to grow. You need to grow. Whatever it is you're learning, implement. Apply them to your daily life. Because it is not enough to acquire all of this knowledge and you're not putting them to work. I think if you have some of this done, you're pretty much in the right course.
You said get a mentor.
Get a mentor.
Always learn, read books, watch podcasts like this, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely, it's very correct. Podcasts like this.
Something like this. Okay.
Awesome, yeah.
Now I want to ask. I know you've transited in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know, coming as a guy from a 9 to 5
Yeah.
to doing something that you are passionate about doing. Tell me something. How did you transition from 9 to 5 to starting your own thing, given that in this state and time, money is a very crucial thing?
Well, the truth is, like I said, there can never be a perfect time to really do anything. I'm a Christian, right? So I'm going to quote something from the Bible. He that observeth the wind or the weather will not sow. So you are looking, it's going to rain today, let me not go to the farm. You will not sow. I remember back in the day, as it's raining, we are busy farming because we must plant a seed. If you don't sow a seed, no harvest for you. So I said that because some people might say, I have a friend, for instance, we met during youth service, and currently he's working in a very good place, but he has been talking to me about exiting 9 to 5, but he hasn't had the courage to do so. He's still observing the wind. And then each time he sees me, oh, you inspire me, bro. You inspire me, bro. I can't wait to, oh yeah. But I will never be the one to tell him to make the decision, because he has to be the one to make the decision himself. Until he comes to that place of conviction in his heart that it is time for him to move, then no one is going to make that decision for him. So he needs to understand what are the factors, what are the indicators, what are the pointers that qualifies in my heart that it is time or it's my season for transitioning. So if he's able to figure that out, then he can make that transition. I think that was what I did for myself, right? But usually it is advisable for quite a number of people, before you make such transitions, have a savings. Because building a new business, for instance, if you're exiting a 9 to 5 to start a business, will be challenging. In fact, you will even require to, even from your savings, put it into the business, because nobody's going to invest in your business if you've not done quite a number of investments yourself. So I think for me, I evaluated the cost, because I checked and said, how long will I wait until I make this move? And I decided to launch it. And because, of course, I'm of the Christian faith, I believe in God, I trust in God, and I commit everything to His trust. I had the courage and the boldness to step out. Yeah.
Let's take some of your trend.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
You posted something on social media.
Yeah.
You said David was a champion.
Okay.
Samuel was a champion. They walked the path of obedience, learned from their mistake, their successes, their life. Losers build their life around their weaknesses. Champions build their lives around their strengths. You are destined for greatness too. Talk it, believe it, live it. Champions simply use the master key of obedience. Here's my question.
Okay.
Champions build their life around their strengths. Losers build their lives around
their weaknesses. Yeah.
Do you want to show more light on that?
Yeah, beautiful. So I made this, I think it was one of my recent threads. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago that I made this thread. So
yeah,
now, so now if you look at Joshua, for instance, it was David and Joshua that I made reference
David and Samuel.
David and Samuel, right? Now, if you look at David, for instance, you'd see that David was, if you read the story of David, if you've seen the mighty things he did, but you understand clearly that David at first was never seen as someone who was going to amount to anything in life. All his brothers were in the war front, but he himself was considered a shepherd boy. Right? But they didn't know that it was in that place of being a shepherd boy that he developed the character, the capacity, and strength for leadership. Now, they didn't know the mighty things he was already doing in the, from tearing the lion and rescuing and then, of course, he did that with the bear as well, right? So he has developed his strengths. Now he has the musical strength as well. In fact, it was now useful in the king's palace when Saul had, when he was having score in his head. So he would play to calm the king down, right? Now, and then when we also look at Samuel, we would see Samuel's story. He was given to God, and then of course, when it was time for God to call him to a higher place of priesthood, he didn't realize that it was God that was calling him. So at the time, he wasn't sensitive to the leadership of to the voice of God, right? Now, what happened? He still dependent on Eli to be able to begin to have access to God. It was Eli that told him, "Oh, I wasn't the one who called you; it was God who called you." Now, these are some of the areas of strength, right? Now, talk about answering your question in terms of losers focus on their weakness. So, most often than not, have you considered that we tend to focus on what is not working? How that we're trying to do stuff, and because it's not working, we fixate on it instead of asking or focusing on the things that are working, amplifying it and making it better. So when you understand that you have strengths in certain areas, right, and begin to develop it, begin to build fortresses around your area of strength, focusing on our areas of weakness will eventually pull us down. So that is why let me use this analogy to explain what I mean. I was talking with a friend who currently owns, not she doesn't own, but she has a job, an international job that pays her, right? And she's making quite a good sum of money from that job. And the job requires so much from her. And of course, there were quite a number of things she wasn't also still getting right. And I told her, if you're not going to be able to do this, instead of losing entirely, how about getting someone who can do this part that you can do, right? And then pay him. And of course, you are in Nigeria, you're getting him as a Nigerian, and you pay him in Naira. Your company will not ask you who did this job. All they know that is you have delivered, and you delivered premium. And they can trust on your capacity or capability to deliver quality job. You become a champion. They give you more jobs. But if you're rather trying to focus on being better at what you may never be better at, you end up losing. So we need to come to the point where we begin to figure out what are our strengths, what are our areas of strength, and begin to work on them, develop them, build fortresses around them. And then the areas of weakness, sometimes when we hear weakness, we have different biases around weakness. But weakness for me in this context is things that you are unable to do that you can outsource. For instance, if you don't know how to cook, for instance, right? Or if you don't have time to cook, you don't have time to clean your house because of how busy your schedule is, how about you outsource that? For instance, not like I know how to cook, right? But I don't have the time. If I want to cook, it takes me a whole day. And I cannot stand be cooking for a whole day. Do you understand? So I outsource it. But if somebody looks at me and says, you are a lazy person, it's a business. I cannot build fortresses around my weakness because time is of essence. I'll use my time to do what produces more results for me.
Tell me something. If I have a weakness in, let's say, having relationship, building relationship, I struggle in that. Do I ignore that?
Are we talking about romantic relationship or relationship in general?
Relationship in general. I don't like people.
Let me sip my coffee.
I don't like people, or rather, maybe the reason why I don't like people is the fact that I'm not good at building relationship, for instance.
Yeah.
Do I ignore that?
No, you don't ignore. There are certain things that you can't consider them as weakness. Do you know why I say that? You can't consider, because we live in a social driven world. We have been created for codependence. You can't do life alone. You must like people, whether you like it or not. Right? So those type of weaknesses, in fact, when you check, you don't necessarily, in quote, not like people.
Yeah.
Right? It could be a product of something that may have happened in times past, self-esteem, trauma, or stuff. And there are things that should be dealt with, because you're going to deal with people, unless your vision for life is small. Small in the sense that you don't intend having people working for you. You don't intend. Hey, that one, I know it's not you, Sha. You just cited an answer for someone who is watching us.
Yeah, for someone,
For someone out there so for someone out there who is saying you don't like people, the truth is you must learn to like people. You must learn to love people. You must learn to. But I understand. I'm coming from the optimism part now, right? But I understand the challenges that a lot of people have. You won't believe that. I just underwent a 2 weeks intensive training. I told you that, right? We had been going from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day for 2 weeks. Now, I have a friend who I was able to influence to attend that same. And you won't believe, for 2 weeks, for 2 whole weeks, it was so difficult for that friend of mine to make new friends. Meanwhile, I was busy having the time of my life. Meeting new people, connecting with new people. I mean,
was this a live and physical meeting?
Yes. Physical meeting, we're always attending, and we're over 150 people there. So, in fact, I had to at some point say, no. Dragged. Oh yeah, meet this person. Oh yeah. So it's people are dealing with a lot, I think, and they need to get down to the root of the problem. It's not like they don't like people. You'd be amazed how deeply in their heart they long to connect. They long to be around people. They want to connect with people deeply in their heart. They envy people that even have, but they're unable to make those moves themselves. Though it's probably they have esteem issues. These are issues that are deeply rooted that they need to deal with. So you see that the weakness is not liking people, not like connecting with people. It's a weakness that is intrinsic that they need to deal with. Because of course you can't do so much in life if you have esteem issues. You can't relate well with people, because even some certain things they say to you, we mean, they just insulted me, they just talked down on me. Then get down to the root of what your problem is. If possible, go for therapy. In Nigeria here, once they say go for therapy, it looks like maybe you are going mental. No, go to therapy, speak out, so they are able to identify the root cause for your wanting to be isolated instead of connecting or socializing.
I recall a section on the Diary of CEO where Trevor Noah was on ground, and he was talking about therapy. And this thing, therapy, it's not just only a Nigerian problem, it's more like an African problem.
Yeah.
Because once you mention therapy, they were like, what is wrong with you? Are you okay? Are you fine? What is it that your pastor cannot do for you?
Exactly.
What is it that you can't pray to God? But it's far more than therapy. What Trevor Noah broke it down to is therapy is as simple as having a conversation.
Yeah.
It's more like going to meet your elder brother. And here's the thing. You mentioned one way to get yourself from where you've been to where you want to be is by getting mentors.
Exactly.
Working on yourself. And sometimes the problem is not just you. The problem is getting the right people. So for someone that is trying to get to where he wants to be, how can he get the right mentor towards where he's going?
Yeah, finding mentors now can be a little bit. It was easier many years ago in terms of their willingness to mentor you, right? But it's easier to actually connect with anyone now because of how the social media digital world has made it easy to access them. You can go to their LinkedIn, you can go to their Instagram, you can shoot them an email. You know, you can find an email someone and shoot them an email. It's easier now. But how to identify the mentor for you. Sometimes you may have to try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until you find that particular mentor that is actually the mentor made for you. Because once you find the mentor that is made for you, one thing you discover is that they will have a heart for you. You know, sometimes we say we have mentors, but in essence, we actually do not. Those are not our mentors; they are just our role models. Because until your mentor has a heart for you. What I mean by hard for you is that they have a compelling burden to see you become a better version of yourself. Until you have someone like that, yeah, I'm not sure you quite have a mentor yet, right? So if you're listening to this podcast and you don't have any of such, but you have a mentor, you have mentors, you need to reevaluate the kind of mentors you have. You should have that one person who is intentional about your growth, who will hold you responsible, who will hold you accountable, right? And be responsible for, he won't be responsible for actions because you are the one acting the action. But at least he will hold you accountable and then of course help point you in the right direction, point you to the right opportunities that will, propel you forward. Now, how did I find my mentor? When I started, I read, I think it was John Maxwell's Laws of Invaluable Growth. It was in that book, if I remember clearly, that he said, oh, was it that book? But I mean, in one of those books I read in the earlier days, he said you could, find a mentor by making your research and checking them out, shooting them an email or writing them a letter. In fact, I was doing handwritten letters. I wrote to quite a number of people until I finally I wrote to about 5 persons. Only one person chose and was willing to mentor me. Right? And he played a huge role in my life significantly at the time. I would go to his office. Once I come to his office, he steps out from his desk. He has a place for coffee. We sit there. He had children at the time, most of which were studying abroad and all of that. Just like you're sitting, I'll sit, I will be discussing over tea or coffee, right? So some of the things he said to me at the time are some of the things I'm running with today. So if you want a mentor, identify where you're going to. It is very important, like I said, and then choose a mentor who and then some of the things we do is also unrealistic. Find a mentor that is accessible, right? Don't go and so you now say that Tony Robbins is your mentor. How about now? You know what it takes to be, even, he has a mentorship. You know what it takes? Thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars to be in his mentorship circle. You can't afford it just yet. Even John Maxwell, to be under his mentorship, is not even here. So be realistic. Look around your circle. Look around your city. Look around someone who portrays. They might not even be rich, wealthy, but they are a model or a mode, a template of where you're going to. They can have positive impact in your life. They might not be able to get to the height you're aiming at, but they can push you to get there. That's why I said they must have a heart for you. Yeah. Your mentor should not be competing with you. Your mentor should not be afraid to point you to opportunities that they know that when you have access to this opportunity will be greater than themselves. Yeah. So they must have a heart. That is the beginning point of mentorship. You must have a compelling burden to see become the best version of yourself.
Yeah. And this is very important. If you want to grow, you have to surround yourself with people that inspires you, that want to see your own growth.
Exactly.
I, for one, I was one of the reasons why I'm able to do what I'm doing right now is because it got to a point in my life whereby I was tired. Should I say tired? Not tired in sense like in life generally, but tired of what I was seeing. because I wasn't living my own life, my own true self. The only way I could evolve and stay on this grind, doing what I'm doing, is by surrounding myself with people that are doing it. Then I reach out to like-minded people. These people are not all glamoury, like you said, Tony Robert, the ones that you see on the artists or A-list people, but they are just on that path towards where I want to go. There are some things that you can learn from them at that point. Then once you're able to get the right information from them, then you can now move to the next person. Then you can move to the next person. Then you can even start paying. But for me, the game changer was the fact that I knew I don't have money to pay for any mentorship. I know I don't have anybody within my circle that was doing what I wanted to do. So what I had to do was, first of all, like you said, start with books. Then you now see the people that are around you. Sometimes they don't tend to be around you, but once you have that thought, they start to gravitate towards you.
Exactly.
So that was how it became clear, because I remember meeting how I met one of my mentors that is currently doing what I'm doing. Coach Sam, was through his wife.
Wow.
So his wife was having an event. I always say this thing. I will tell him every time that it was just a coincidence. So his wife was having a meeting. Then she came to our office, wanted to book for our husband. My husband wants to have events, and what is the cost? So out of curiosity, I asked, what type of events is these? She said it's a quarter event. They usually have it every 3 weeks. Then she brought out the flyers. When I saw mastermind communication, mastermind strategy. I knew at that point that I want to do something like this. So what I did was I gave her the price. Then she was like, oh, that is a lot. It's a lot. Then I said, okay, woman, I'll do you a discount. If you can bring your husband.
Wow.
If you can bring your husband, then we can negotiate on the price. She was like, don't worry, I'll bring him. Just now. And within a split seconds, more like an hour, he came. He wasn't around. He came around, and that was it for me.
Wow.
That was a game changer. So it wasn't like he was around my circle, but the thoughts of knowing that where I want to go. Then I need to start finding the right people to suit where I want to be. Now, my question here is, for those people that are influenced by things that doesn't serve them, we can choose our friends, but we don't choose our family. And sometimes your family itself can be a distraction to where you're going to. Now, how do you handle those things?
Well, for the ones whose family might be a distraction to where they're, or friends could be a distraction to where they're going to. I mean, first of all, like I said, once you've discovered where you're going to, be consumed so much with passion to see you become that person that you want to be, right? And then of course, let me stay on family, because why I want to stay on family is because let's say, for instance, you still stay with family, right? It might be very difficult in those moments because they are under your nose. They want to know everything you're going to. You say want to attend, yes, and so you want to go for, okay, where are you going to? You're going for a conference. Oh, this is what you want to be doing with your life, the conference and all of that. So they are monitoring your life. They are telling you this is not what you're going to do. Now, this whole thing, I don't want it to be tailored to maybe people who want to get into public speaking or motivational or anything human capacity development. Even people who want to pursue a life in entertainment, in creative industry and all of that. Your family might still be against you, but you have to tread with wisdom, because you're still, and then if you've gotten to the point of independence, start thinking of a way to move out. That is because you cannot do so much. That environment might be a strong limitation until you're able to take yourself out of that environment.
True.
Even among friends, if your friends are not helping, if they're a distraction, you need to take yourself out of that environment. Environment is everything.
I remember, as you're just saying this now, it's bringing my mind to what my boy told me.
Yeah.
And I hope he's not listening, but if he wants to, it's left for him. So he met me a few days ago and said that he wants to start reviewing cars. In my head, I was like, when you want to see cars, I'll start reviewing. He said that's what he loves to do.
Wow.
I was like, okay. He might, because now me thinking about him,
Yeah.
what he wants to do,
Yeah.
I don't see it around him. So somehow I can be a limiting belief to what he wants to do. And that's just like what you said. When people are under your roof, somehow they feel like they have you at best interest.
Yeah.
You understand? But since they're not seeing what you want to do or what you plan on doing, like me now, I just like you say now, I can consider myself as a stumbling block to what
young man, exactly. Yeah.
So it makes more sense. So now, but since currently that is still under my roof, how can he get himself out?
Well, the truth is, now that we're having this conversation and you're also seeing some things, right? So, first of all, but like you said, family or friends or the people around you may have your interest at heart. They're not trying to distract you because they hate you or they don't like you or they don't want you to succeed, but they probably are seeing something else that they feel could be better for you.
Yeah.
But you know that what is better for you. But another thing we need to also be careful is sometimes we might want to do something, right? But we get the timing wrong. We might be passionate about something, but our timing is wrong to pursue that. So sometimes, yes, even though you know you have a passion for this or this is your purpose, you want to do this, right? Just let time process all of those. So while you are where you are, just take it as your waiting season. Just be preparing internally. Just be doing your stuff calmly, while you're letting time mature that burden or that purpose or that passion that you have, right? So that once it's time for you to launch fully or to launch out, even conviction would have been solidified, right? Now, for this other person that you used as an analogy, he can't possibly leave now if he doesn't have anywhere else to go to. So it is now your responsibility to sit him down, for instance, and ask him what his 5-year, 10-year goal is. Is this what you want to be doing within the next 5 years? So if we check you back in 5 years time, you're still going to be reviewing cars. If we check you back in 10 years from now, you're still going to be reviewing cars. Is this what you want to do for the long term? Right? If he says yes, so with reviewing cars, you're going to get married, you're going to build a legacy, you're going to build family, you're going to do that, you're going to, reality check, because more especially young people now, they just want to do things because other people are doing it, not because they are originally wired for it. Probably they're saying, oh, this person made fortune out of it. It's not to talk, it's not to use camera and all of that. So, but you need to ask certain questions that will bring a reality check, right? So once you've been able to do that and assess how genuine his interest is regarding that which he wants to pursue, which is reviewing cars, what you can now do is see how you can help him, right? What are the car companies we have in Abuja here? Which one can you take him to and just tell them, oh, this is my boy, he's good with. And then of course, what skill level does he even have, right? That's another thing. Does he have the skills? What does he need? What would it take to be able to do that at a professional level? Right? Because if he can't do it at a professional level, nobody will allow him, unless he just wants to do it as a rookie, jumping from one car stand along Guarimpa Road, is it? No, not Guarimpa, Kubwa Road. That is a hair. But if he wants to do it at a professional level, then there is a certain level of skill set that he should possess. Yeah. So that's another thing you need to find out. If he doesn't quite have it, does he need to learn a videography skill? Does he need to learn what does he need to be able to execute, to do that? Once he's been able to do that, then the next step is pretty much easy. There are a lot of beautiful car stands. You can just drive him. Okay, this is my boy. What do they do? Because they don't really pay them, at least for the beginning. He won't be paid to review cars,
I hope he's listening. You know.
He won't be paid to review fast. So it's after he reviews, you post it on his own page. Let people follow it, let him grow his community, grow his followership, and start having start driving traffic to the. That is when they will take him serious. So there's a lot of work. He needs to understand all of those.
Yeah.
That there is a step, there's a process to it. And I mean, yeah.
I stumbled on one of your tweets
Okay.
some other days ago.
Okay.
Yes, I was talking you. So you said spend a lot of time alone. Is that one of the key areas in terms of changing your life?
I'm excited talking about this. A lot of people don't like staying with themselves.
Why is that?
I don't know why, but it is something that we must learn to do. And it is the most difficult. Staying by yourself to think, to reflect, right? Is something that if you've learned and mastered, you can become one of the best versions of yourself. And you can become the best version of yourself. So we just want to be distracted. So if you want to pick up a phone, you want to call someone, you want to be on TikTok, you want to just be watching and you're laughing, you want to just be somewhere, you just want to be, no. So where is the time for self-reflection? I'm 25 now. I'm 30 now. What have I achieved? Oh, this is August. What have I done in the past 8 months or in the past 7 months? Where am I today? Or what did I do today? That moment of in fact, I think I should recommend that everyone should have at least 15 minutes of self-reflection every single day. You can use 5 minutes to think about what you have achieved in the past 24 hours. Use another 5 minutes to think about what you should achieve in the present, and use the 5 minutes to think about what you should do. You should have that moment of self-reflection. Enjoy your own company. Spend time with yourself. Sometimes turn off your phone, put it on flight mode. Of course, except you're a business person expecting to. But what I mean is, spend time with yourself. Sometimes go out on a self date. Spend time with yourself. Understand yourself. Yeah. Some people don't know themselves. They wait for people to tell them who they are. And some people are unsure about themselves, unsure about their potentials, unsure about what they can do, how much they can achieve.
And you only get that when you spend time with.
Yes, moments of self-discovery comes through moments of self-reflection and isolation.
Sorry, can you find that again?
Moments of self-discovery comes from moments of isolation. Isolate yourself. Stay alone. And then, of course, being alone is different from being lonely. I don't know if you got that.
Yeah.
Being alone is different from being lonely. So being lonely being alone is a choice. It's a decision to be alone. Now, if you're a Christian and you read the Bible, you read accounts where the Bible says, and Jesus withdrew himself to be alone. What was he doing being alone? Communicating with the Father, praying, asking God for the next generation, collecting power, more anointing to go and now interact with people, heal, deliver, set free, preach the gospel powerfully. But being lonely is not a choice. It's not a decision, right? You don't choose to be lonely. Circumstances
can find
you there where you are lonely, But I mean, just like you choose to be alone, you can also choose not to be lonely. And that is why you need to have good friends, good circle. You don't need to have a lot. I have a very small cluster of friends. In fact, they were at mine. So a few of them came to my place, surprisingly, 2 hours before this session. Once in a while, once we have done, like every month, there's no month we don't gather. We just look for one's fine eatery. We just, restaurant. We just go there, sit, laugh, catch up, talk. What have you done? And all of that. Why? What it does, some of them are in a relationship, some of them are not in a relationship. But that community helps us stay alive, stay vibrant, stay in touch with other people. Because not everybody, social media, it's good that you're meeting people online or you have friends that you're talking to on social media, but it is different when you have people you connect with, personally. It's very important. Very, very important.
Thank you, Elijah. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. I want to ask this last question.
Go ahead,
If you
please.
have a question. Imagine that it's January 1st,
Okay.
2026, and I'm talking to you right now. What are 3 habits will you recommend for someone that wants to change his life to the best version of himself? 3 habits.
3 habits. Well, for me, first thing I would say before we talk about habits is mindset. For somebody who wants to change their life, you need to change your mindset. Transformation begins in the mind. Until you have your mindset transformed, your life will not be transformed. You can't change until your mind changes, right? So it's not even about what you begin to do. You can jump into doing things, but until you have the right mindset, you still fail at them. So work on your mindset. And one of the ways to work on your mindset is actually, it boils down back to, people want to run away from books. Some people say, I don't like to read books. I don't know who will help you. Now we have audiobooks. You can listen to audiobooks. Go on YouTube, you see they've already uploaded some of the audiobooks. Listen to audiobooks. Go on Spotify, there are tons of podcasts to help you, right? Quite a number of them. So that is where it begins. And then another habit you need to develop if you want to change your life, it now depends on what area of your life you want to change. Whether it's your financial life, if it's your physical fitness, like me now, I started going to the gym, see how so I can look like that too. Even though these past 2 weeks, because of the trainings, I've not had time and all of that. So whatever it is you want to do, take action.
Yeah.
Because nothing changes until you also act. Yeah. Once you have your mindset intact, you take action. Another thing too is you must have accountability partner. You should have people who you can go through the journey with. Don't try to do it alone. Why this is so generic that I cannot really pin it down to certain habits you need to develop, because it's a generic question. So if you had asked me, maybe you want to change your finances, you want to change, so I can now start telling you about maybe start saving is a habit, so, but generally work on your mindset, right? And then if you've identified what it is area you want to change your life, after identifying your transforming your mindset by reading books, listening to podcasts, the next is act, implement. Nothing changes until you act. Nothing changes until you act. You say you want to go to the gym, you are not going to the gym. You will not grow muscles. You say you want to improve, you want to grow your finances, and every money that comes in, you use it to booga. You are not investing in stocks, you're not learning about it. So there should be a conscious effort to begin to do the things that should propel your life forward. So you cannot be doing the same things that you did, because the truth is January 1st now, everybody is still going to, usually what I do on January 1st is to sleep. I don't start running around, because there is no difference between January 1st and January 31st. It's just a change in calendar. It's not, it's pretty much the same thing. So if you have that understanding, you know that it's a continuum. It's a continuity. It's just a straight line that just continues. We human beings decided to segment it and put it in calendar and all of that. So you should live your life with intentionality every day. So a day in a year should not make you remember that, you have not been living a life of intentionality.
Sure.
So intentional living should be your watchword. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Elijah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.